These are my rulings, and I'm going to go by party and address the request they made of the court. These rulings will be turned into an omnibus order, and I anticipate that it will be 4 to 6 weeks in order for us to have an omnibus order with the findings of fact and the conclusions of law. First, I address the Texas taxpayer and student fairness. The court declares the school finance system violates efficiency provisions of Article 7, Section 1 of the Texas Constitution in that it fails to provide substantially equal access to revenues necessary to provide for a general diffusion of knowledge. The court declares that the school finance system is not adequately funded and therefore fails to make suitable provision for the support and the maintenance of the system in violation of Article 7, Section 1 of the Texas Constitution. The court declares that the school finance system has created a state ad valorem tax in violation of Article 8, Section 1E of the Texas Constitution. And the court declares that the school finance system does not violate Article 8, Section 1, the equal and uniform tax provision of the Texas Constitution. Next are the Edgewood School District. The court declares that the current public school finance system is financially and quantitatively inefficient under Article 7, Section 1 of the Texas Constitution. The court declares that the current public school finance system is constitutionally unsuitable for the provision of a general diffusion of knowledge for low-income and English language learner students under Article 7, Section 1 of the Texas Constitution. The court declares that the low-wealth school districts have been forced to tax at or near the cap of $1.17 merely to fulfill state mandates and no longer have meaningful discretion in setting their tax rates so as to constitute a statewide ad valorem tax. For the Fort Bend plaintiffs, the court declares the current school finance system violates Article 7, Section 1 of the Texas Constitution in that it is inadequate and unsuitable because it is not structured, operated, and funded so that it can accomplish the general diffusion of knowledge. The court declares the current school finance system violates Article 7, Section 1 of the Texas Constitution in that it is inefficient, inequitable, unsuitable, and arbitrarily funds districts at different levels below the constitutionally required level of the general diffusion of knowledge. The court declares that the current school finance system prevents districts from exercising meaningful discretion in setting their tax rates, thereby violating Article 8, Section 1E of the Texas Constitution. And to the extent that plaintiff districts could raise taxes to the statutory maximum rate, the districts would still remain unable to meaningfully use local tax dollars for local enrichment beyond the level required for a constitutionally adequate education. For Calhoun County Independent School District and others, the school declares that the current school finance system violates Article 7, Section 1 of the Texas Constitution in that it is inadequate and fails to provide the resources needed to achieve a general diffusion of knowledge. School districts must be able to finance the cost of providing for an adequate education within the range of their taxing authority that is not subject to tax ratification elections. The court declares that the current school finance system prevents districts from exercising meaningful discretion in setting their tax rates, thereby violating Article 8, Section 1E of the Texas Constitution. And the Calhoun districts cannot lower taxes without compromising their ability to meet state standards, nor can they raise their taxes because they are either legally or practically unable to do so. Even at the maximum tax rate, for additional dollars would not be available for enrichment because they would be needed to fund inadequate education. For the Texans for Real Efficiency and Equity, I'm going to say parenthetically that there has been a great deal in the presentation by the Texans for Real Efficiency and Equity that should bear the legislature's scrutiny. The efficiency interveners contend that the public school system is unconstitutional because it is qualitatively inefficient. That is, it is not productive of results. Accordingly, they challenge the statutory cap on school districts, the overregulation of traditional public schools, and the system for rating financial accountability, the failure to update the Cost of Education Index, the Texas Education Code's Chapter 21, control over personnel decisions, and the laws governing home rule charters, and the abilities of a receiving district to reject a transfer student from an underperforming school under a public education grant. The efficiency interveners contend that the public school system would be more productive of results if the court were to declare the above practices to be unconstitutional under Article 7, Section 1 of the Texas Constitution. The court respectfully declines to so declare. The court declares that the issues raised by the efficiency interveners clearly reflect policy decisions within the sound discretion of the legislature in shaping the public school system. Finally, with respect to the Texas Charter Schools Association, the charter interveners contend that the legislature has violated Article 7, Section 1 of the Texas Constitution by establishing an alternative method for funding an open enrollment charter school rather than funding charters in the same manner as traditional public school districts, including the provision of funding for facilities. The court declares that it is within the legislature's discretion to fund charters differently or the same than traditional public school districts. Any disparities do not rise to the level of rendering the entire system unconstitutional under Article 7, Section 1 or Article 1, Section 3 of the Texas Constitution. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of my rulings. Thank you all very much, and we are recessed.